While others talk theory from their studios, I take you into the field to show you real deals, real investors, and real results. This is not classroom real estate. This is the unfiltered, boots on the ground playbook of the pros. Hi guys, my name is Brian Tripp. I live in Birmingham, Alabama, but I travel all across the country to bring you in-person interviews and property walkthroughs of professional real estate entrepreneurs. I'm so glad you're along for the ride, so let's get into today's show. What's up, everybody? We are in Anniston, Alabama, and today we're going to be talking about how to get federal grant money from the city so that you can go out here and start building houses. And we're going to talk to Lindsey, who's done this. It's really impressive from the outside looking in. Guys, I know nothing. So we're going to learn this together because I've never been able to, I've heard about people getting grants and getting federal funds to build and make money as a real estate investor. I've never done it. I've never explored it. I imagine that there's a lot of red tape and it's a pretty long process. Can you kind of start us right there and take us through the process?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of red tape and it's definitely a long process. But once you get in it and get your process together and check all the boxes, then it can be decently lucrative. I kind of stumbled across it on accident just from networking and talking to people. When I got back to Anniston, which is my hometown, and I started investing and trying to improve the community here, there's a shortage of low income house, affordable, quality, low to moderate income housing. And when people hear that, that's how the federal government classifies it. When they hear that, they think you have to be poor, and it's not the case. You can make pretty good money and classify as moderate income.
Let's define all that, because I think that's kind of a buzzword, with this affordable housing.
Right.
Like, what even is affordable housing?
It's, from the most basic standpoint, is housing that has a rent that an average family can afford, based on a median income of the area, right? So in this area, rough numbers, right? It's based on how many people in the household. So you could be someone making 50-some thousand and still qualify as a moderate income person or family in the area. And the government controls how high the rent could be, right? To make sure it's affordable. So they subsidize the construction or the rehab of the properties. And with that, they put a deed restriction, and you have to limit your rents. And that's what makes it affordable. So you can't price gouge, you can't jack up your prices. It makes sure that there's available quality housing in the price range that an average family could afford in the area.
All right, so just make sure I want to understand what you've done here. You've built these houses?
These I've built. So you can build, you can rehab, there's a combination of the things. But this is a neighborhood that was developed. This was just raw land initially, with just trees and woods. And to be honest with you, I purchased this land initially because I got it at auction. It's like 7 acres, and I got it for like $3 grand. And my intent on buying it really wasn't to develop it. It was just to leverage it with banks. I was going to use it as collateral to get loans. I paid $3 grand for it, but I had to get a lot more in collateral value.
Because it's worth more.
Because it's worth more, right?
It could appraise for more.
Correct. So when I do a loan on some other property or development, I use this collateral. I don't have to come with a down payment, and I only paid $3 grand for it.
So that just sounds like a completely different strategy, and that's an interesting strategy. You're buying property just because you could get it so much lower than the actual appraised value of it. Correct. Or what the bank would appraise it for, so you can use it as collateral. Exactly. To be able to borrow against it, exactly. To be able to go flip or do whatever it is you want to do.
Exactly. So I don't have to come money out of my pocket.
That's an interesting strategy right there. That's pretty awesome. So, but what you did out here, 7 acres.
7 acres.
And how did you stumble upon, you didn't want to develop this?
No, I was just holding it. But after speaking with people in the city and in the area, I found out that there's grant funds available. And they was actually about to lose some of it because they had been stockpiling and building for years. And if you don't spend it, you lose it, right? And nobody likes that. Nobody likes that you lose 300, 400, 500 grand and give it back to the federal government because you couldn't find anybody in your area to spend it to improve your area. Mm-hmm. So I started asking more questions. I went to meetings and council meetings and different things and found out all the nuts and the bolts of it, and then went through the long process of getting that fund. So it had built up for, I don't know exactly, probably built up for 5-6 years, and that money was just stockpiling. But there's a lot of people that didn't want to go for it because of the red tape, because of all the boxes you had to check. So I had to go to city council meetings. I had to present to the neighborhood. I had to get these other neighbors to buy in because people think low-income housing. They think Section 8 or projects. It's just
Right, that's what I think. That's why I asked you the question. What is it?
And this is actually a nice neighborhood. A lot of people have lived here for a long time. They don't want just anything coming in. So I had to put a package on everybody's door, telling them what I was going to do. I had to address any questions they had in a public forum. They actually rented a van, put residents on the van. I had to drive them to other projects that I've done so they can see the quality of project, because if they didn't buy in, the city probably wouldn't have given me the money.
But to be clear, I was driving over here and I did go through some projects.
Yes, you do. You did go through projects to get here, but this area, there's no problems here.
So I've got questions about the red tape. I do have a lot more questions, but let's talk about Anniston first, because Anniston is an interesting area. We're about 50 miles from Birmingham or so, off of I-20, going east towards Atlanta. And Anniston's next to Oxford's a booming community. And it's just a few miles, just almost like a part of Oxford. What is Anniston? Who makes up the community here in Anniston? There are projects. I've heard there are some rough parts of Anniston. So just tell me about Anniston as a city. Who lives here? What's the community like?
This is a blue collar city. I mean, there's rough areas no matter where you go, right? You just got to know what they are, right? So Anniston has nice areas. They have peaceful areas. They have areas that people have been living in for a long time. And they have areas that's not so much. That's just the nature of the beast of any area, right? But Anniston used to be a booming area. To go quick history, Fort McClellan is here. And it was booming when Fort McClellan was here. It closed down and Anniston took a hit. But it's coming back.
How long ago was that? Did it close down?
That's been quite a while.
Okay.
That's been quite a while. But it's coming back. Like you have like Honda and different places where hardworking people go and work and make good money. So
how far away is Honda? That's in Lincoln, right?
That's in Lincoln.
How far away is that?
15 miles.
Okay.
So that's nothing. And you have Anderson Army Depot, which is a federal facility, great jobs there. And like I said, Oxford's taking advantage of I-20. When you have all that traffic on I-20, they've built up the Oxford Exchange and things of that nature. And there's been a misconception of the school system here for a long time. It's a reputation thing. I came out of Anniston. I'm proud. I enjoyed it. I loved it. But if you don't get in and really talk to people, then you don't know. You just go with what you hear. So there's a misconception of the school system here, I believe. But it's a hard area. Like you're not going to drive around here scared. This is a nice area. You did drive through projects, but Birmingham and Atlanta, I drove through trailer parks and all kind of things. And next thing you know, a big, nice development comes up. That's kind of just nature of the beast. Yeah.
So you bought this 7 acres for $3,000.
Correct.
That's pretty awesome. That sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, it works.
And then you just kind of stumbled into developing it. You were just planning on sitting on it and just paying the taxes on it? That was your initial plan?
Yes, I was planning on sitting on it, paying the taxes on it, and continuously using that as collateral to help me. It expedites or exponentially grows what I can buy based on collateral.
Now, had you ever developed?
I hadn't.
Prior to this?
Not a real development. I mean, for this, you're talking about getting in, you have to get engineering involved, and we had an engineering group out of Birmingham. They have to engineer the whole thing: storm, gutter, retention pond, grading, infrastructure. Like it was a big thing, and I'd never done that before.
For only how many houses?
So we have 6 now, but we developed it for 12.
Okay.
So as more funding come available, like we just built that one, as more funding come available, we're ready to go to just keep building this out.
But it seems as if for 6 or for 12 houses, like there's no way you would have been able to be profitable doing that without the government funding.
I would have went under, right? And that's been a goal of mine, is to get back to this area and redevelop it. And with grant funds, it allows me to do so. Because like you said, if I pay for this out of pocket, it's not worth what I put into it at the end of the day, right? So I wouldn't have been able to do it, right? But having that federal funding for that purpose allows me to do that and provide more quality housing, which we have a huge shortage of in this area.
Right. And so you mentioned the rents earlier. So you've built these to rent and you own them?
Correct.
And you're renting them out?
Correct.
You just have to, a part of that, maybe the stipulations, is that you have to keep the rent at a certain level.
Correct.
But you own these forevermore.
I own these forever. I own them outright, and they pay rent, and I get to keep the rent. But I have to rent them to what they consider a low to moderate income family. I have to keep files on that. I can't sell them. These I cannot sell.
For how long a period? Ever?
Like 20-something years, like 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
you have to rent them to what they consider low to moderate income families. That's the big stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so take me through some of the red tape. You mentioned like going to city council meetings, getting engineers involved, but just specifically talking about the money. Okay, the grant money. What is the application process like for you? You already mentioned that there wasn't probably not a whole lot of competition going after it.
Right.
It's because the money's sitting there. But talk about the red tapes. What are some of the things you actually had to do to apply for the money and actually get the money?
I mean, your business has to be in perfect order. There's financial audits that has to be done. There's insurance requirements that has to be in place. I know a lot of people don't carry workers' comp, but there's insurance requirements that has to be in place. You have to be in good standing with the state. They're going to do the certificate of good standing. I have a home builder's license, so I was able to do certain things that other people would have to go outside to do. And I already had the land, so they were looking for somebody that was ready to go and not just had a pipe dream of something that they can do. I had the land. I said, hey, if you approve it, we can get started tomorrow, in a sense. But I mean, there's a bunch of things you have to send in because it's a federal grant, right? So the federal government and HUD has their own requirements on it. You have to check all those boxes and before they'll even release the funds. And the funds that I received for this project was a private company could get them. There's others available, but you have to be a nonprofit. This was one that a private company could get, so it's very limited, but it's insurance requirements, to answer your questions, insurance requirements, licensing requirements, certificate of good standing with the state requirements, and like one of the bigger things is getting the community to buy in, because if they don't, the city council is not going to approve you to do your project, because if it goes south, then they're going to get voted out of position.
What were some of the requirements they had that you had to maybe that were either you didn't have it or you had to come up with it, and maybe it was a little daunting, or maybe you thought that there's no way I could do this because this requirement is too much or too big? Was there anything like that?
Well, I didn't have the too much idea. My thought was, how am I going to make it happen? Not that this requirement is too much. I mean, the workers' comp is expensive. It's just the nature of the beast. Certificate of good standing was already in place. I already had my home builder's license. The financial audits, we had to go out and get those, because I wasn't getting those on an annual basis. Had to go do those and make sure everything was in line financially. There's certain processes you have to have in place to make sure that they're comfortable that you're going to do the right things with the money. So you have to have documented procedures and processes in place. It's some of it's tedious and some of it's more just big things you got to do.
Once you finally get the money, is it just money hits your bank account kind of thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was about to say, that sounds too easy.
Not at all. I think most of the time on this, we would do a certain aspect of it. We'd front the money and then they repay us. And there's some instances where the work was done and we had them pay the subcontractor directly. So we didn't have to pay it. But no, they're not handing you money hoping you do well with it. That's just not how they operate.
So you have to obviously have all your financials ducks in a row, but almost like all the invoices and things like that of people you use, you're basically getting reimbursed. What's that timeline look like? Is that a long timeline, or is it pretty?
It wasn't a long timeline. It really just, on average, a couple weeks, few weeks on average. Now, we had a couple that drug out, but that was more of a government system thing that they changed systems. So there's some costs we had to carry for quite some time, but that was like a one-time thing.
So take me through some of the numbers now. All told, what are you in it for? How long did it take? You're talking about building a subdivision. You're talking about bringing in infrastructure. And we just recently did a series with Jimmy Moore where we talked a lot about he's developing a 68 house subdivision, and it took him 2 years just to even get to the point to start building.
Right.
How did you go about that process? How long did that take you?
From really start to finish, I think it may have taken us a year and a half-ish.
To even have the houses built?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. The whole development, I don't have a general contractor's license. So we actually had to hire a general contractor because Alabama's definition, we couldn't go and do all this. The roads and things like that, we had to get a general contractor. And actually the guy we used, he had to go get another certificate or permission put on his general contractor's license in order to do so. And to be honest with you, I wasn't in a position to be doing storm and gutter and things of that nature because I had never done it. So I wanted somebody who knew what they were doing to come in and do it. It took a year-ish, maybe a little more, start to finish. And I think for this one, 1.1, 1.2-ish. Total.
All 6 houses.
Well, the other one came in later.
So first five.
First five.
And that's all the infrastructure. That's everything, and to build the houses.
Correct.
you would have to sell those houses for 250 grand a piece.
Yeah,
To be profitable
um,
or more.
Right, but again, we did more than just those 5. So we brought in infrastructure and prepared lots for 12.
That's true.
So we fully developed this whole piece of land, the retention pond, the whole thing, the whole 12 houses.
Mm-hmm.
So we can easily throw up another one without having to do any more major infrastructure.
What does it cost you to build out here?
Well, this was years ago, right?
Oh, how many years ago was this?
Well, when I say years ago, there's a lot of changing times, things going on. This was during COVID.
Okay.
So this was when prices had
2020, 2021.
right. The 2021-ish, I believe, but this is when prices had jumped up. I can't remember exactly what we were in on it for just a house build specific.
Mm-hmm. What are the caps on the rents?
So the caps on the rents are about $1,100, I believe. Now, every year it changes.
Mm-hmm.
It may be $1,200. I think we're a little under here. We have people that's been here a long time because it's brand new houses. When they get here, typically people don't want to leave. We do have one vacant currently. I'd have to look at the HUD guidelines, but it's in that 1,100-ish range for a 3.2, what your max rent for this area.
Gotcha. And that's low if you're looking at the scheme of things. Do you know what the market rents are out here?
Well, and again, if you're talking this area specific, you're actually not too far off.
Oh, are you not? Okay.
Right, man. Because this is in Oxford, right? Where with 3.2, 1,200 square feet, you can jack it up.
Yeah.
Because you're in Oxford, so you're not too far off.
Now, how much did you get from the government? Do you remember?
Some money wise, I mean, for this project or just for all together?
This whole thing.
This whole thing was about 1 point. If you count the last house, it was in 1.3.
That's how much they gave you?
Correct.
How much are you in it for? 0. What? No, I didn't know that. You're in this for 0?
I'm in this for 0. Now, so there's other things. So,
okay, tell me.
Typically with this grant, they do require you to come with a percentage. I can't remember what their percentage is, but typically they will require you to come with a percentage that you have to cover, and they cover the rest. And they check your bank account to make sure that you're financially stable enough to carry this type of project. Now, you don't have to have the full amount, but you have to be able to carry some costs, right? Or you're not going to be able to make it happen. But there's a stipulation for this area because this area was so in need of affordable housing that we was able to waive that stipulation. So I'm able to be in it 0.
I'm speechless. How many more of these can you do? That's like the question.
How much ever money they give me.
What?
But
again, what am I missing, Chris?
Well, the only caveat for this project is money has stockpiled for 5 or 6 years. So it was a lot of money available, right? Typically on an annual basis, you don't have that kind of money available. So it's stockpiled for that. So they needed somebody to spend it, and we came and spent it. Going forward, there will be a lower amount available every year.
And so is that what you're kind of waiting on now to build these other houses?
Correct. Okay. As more funding comes available, I'll build more of these houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what to say right now. You basically, you had to go through a lot of red tape. You had to put money up front.
Correct.
It sounds like.
Correct.
You had to have all your ducks in a row. You're not just hey, I'm getting started in real estate. You've been in real estate for a while.
Right.
But to get to that point and to take advantage of the grants, the federal grants and the money that's available it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's a pretty incredible deal. What would you say to someone maybe getting started, or maybe someone who's not getting started in real estate? Maybe I've done some real estate projects. Maybe I've built a little bit. How do I go about looking into this from the beginning? I know you're specific to the city of Anniston,
right.
Like it maybe just anywhere. How could I even find out if there's money available? Who should I go talk to, or what's the first kind of steps I should take?
You can start talking to people that work for the city. They'll know if they have some money coming in available. I hadn't gotten to the grant writers and the grant finders and things of that nature. I hadn't gotten there yet.
But that's not you though, right? That's the city has those people, right?
Correct. But I'm just saying there is a thing of like grant finding and grant writing. And that's my next place to go, because I do now have a nonprofit whose whole goal is affordable housing and financial literacy. But for this type of money, I say talk to people that work for the city. Talk to people that work at the municipalities and see what grants they have coming in. Because if they're active in finding them, then they need somebody to spend it. Because a lot of these grants, I ain't gonna say a lot of them, some of these grants, the city cannot use the money. The city has to give it to either a nonprofit or a private company. So they have to find someone to spend the money.
And it's typically for a grant like this, it's going to be in probably a lower income type of area, or not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Birmingham has it.
Birmingham.
It depends on
city's pretty low income.
Well, it depends on what part, right?
True.
It's one of those. It's one of those type things. But yeah, again, if the average income is lower for the area, there is a better chance. But you also have to have a government that's active in obtaining that money,
Right.
And also spending it, because they can't hold it and have to give it back if they don't get rid of it.
Was the city, because you had to go in front of the city council, was the city council pretty receptive? Because they probably, at the end of the day, obviously they want to spend the money, you said earlier, or otherwise they got to give it back.
Right.
And they probably, these are things they want.
Right.
They want affordable housing, right? Was the city council pretty receptive, or was there any push? Did you get any pushback at all? Was there maybe that one councilman, you don't need to name names, was there any kind of pushback at all from the mayor or the city council?
No, I had great support. I had great support from the city council and the mayor. And there was one councilman that was there at the time. On the very front end, he was kind of skeptic, but he came around. And which I don't blame him. I mean, especially if it's your district, right? You have to make sure it's something that's going to make sense, or it's going to be the egg on your face, right? So I had to do some convincing. I had to show that I was credible. I had to show that I could pull it off. For him, it was all about the constituents.
For sure.
What is a constituents thing? So once I was able to get them over, then it was fine. I didn't have any issues.
And then going from kind of door to door, giving like a packet of information out, what do you even know to compile? Is that something you had to do, or you just felt like that was a good extra step to take?
I feel like it was a little both, right? If I got to win these people over, I need to let them know that, hey, I'm not hiding. I'm not trying to do this secret project that you're going to hate. It's going to be literally in your backyard. This is what I'm going to do. And here's how I think it can actually help your property value. And I can manage it. I will manage the tenants in the project in the area, so you won't be getting a trash neighborhood with bad tenants. It just took a lot of convincing, because these are prideful people. These people, you hear birds. This is what you hear when you're out here. They want to keep hearing that, right? They don't have to worry about when they go to work, somebody's going to go through their window from this neighborhood. That's not a problem. So even when we finished it, I see someone in Lowe's and they'd be like, hey man, I know I was kind of against it at first, but it's peaceful back there. I love what you did. It brought up our property values.
That's awesome. Guys, we're going to take about 3 or 4 more minutes, so stick with us. We're going to walk just down this street real quick, and Chris is going to tell us about these houses. All right, Chris, tell us as we walk. I want to kind of show these houses that you built. I mean, you've got wood siding, it looks like, or is that vinyl siding?
That's vinyl.
It's vinyl siding.
That's vinyl.
You got vinyl siding that looks like they're on slabs.
They're on slabs.
Kind of take us through like the actual building process as we walk.
Right. So 5 of them are on slabs. We have one that's on a crawl space just due to lay of land. The 3-bedroom, 2-bath, about 1,250 square feet. They are mostly builder grade, what you would consider, but there are things that we didn't. Well, we put the extra cost where we thought it mattered, right? We don't want to go put granite countertops in here when you want to build quality housing, as many quality homes as you can with the government funding. So, but there's no carpet in them, right? We put LVP throughout, because some people have allergy issues and things of that nature. It's the open floor plan. Its energy efficiency was big, so we didn't cut costs when it comes to energy efficiency, because once they move in, we want to make sure they can afford living there and not spending all their money on utilities. So it's a simple layout, 3-2. This one is actually vacant.
We're going to go in there?
We can go in there if you want to.
You already opened it up?
Yes, it's unlocked.
And then before we go in there, Chris, tell me about across the street here, because this is ready for a couple of houses right here.
They are. So here, and actually the land goes back on that side. We had a couple of residents, to be honest with you, they was against the project because they have a couple of structures that encroaches on our land, and they thought we were causing a problem. So I met with them, I spoke with them, and actually in those instances, we're not going to make them tear down their shed for our projects. We're actually going to deed the land over to them. But we had to make people feel comfortable that we're not here to cause problems. We're here to bring value to the neighborhood, re-energize the neighborhood, and bring some quality tenants to the neighborhood, because beforehand, this was just woods before we came in and put in the roads and the homes and all the infrastructure. So welcome to Chestnut Village. That's what we call this. We call this Chestnut Village. So this is the kitchen and breakfast area, family room area behind you. It comes with all the appliances, stove, dishwasher, refrigerator.
All right.
Got 2 bedrooms as you first come in. This is actually a fairly large storage area. So if we do more of these, I'll actually not have this area be so big.
Well, this is laundry, right?
Well, Then you got this. So
Just has like some extra square footage.
correct. So I would put that space in the bedroom space.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's just a little much storage, and make the bedrooms.
Got a hall bath.
Hall bath. That's the second bath.
Okay.
And then you got your master here, closet, and master bath there. So fairly straightforward setup. Again, it's the trade-off of giving people what they need and what's functional, the energy efficiency, the no carpet for allergies and things of that nature, but not going too far to where you're spending so much on luxuries that you miss out on putting an extra home up and giving somebody else an additional quality home. We want to be good stewards of the money. I mean, we could have came in and did all the fancy things, right? I mean, you just cost more money.
But at the end of the day, Chris, you're a landlord. You own these houses, and
Correct.
you need to, as tenants turn over, you need to be able to, get these things back and rent ready,
Right.
in an efficient way.
Right.
So no carpet helps that. LVP helps that.
Yep.
Having, just a lot of just not having so many luxuries, I guess, kind of helps you as a landlord.
And when I'm speaking with the city, I need to be able to convince them that I'm good stewards of the money, right? That they're getting, because what the government cares about is how many families can we support? How many people can we support with the funding?
Mm-hmm.
So with the same 200 or 300,000, if I got one house that's luxury with one family in it versus getting two homes, that's what matters to the government. That's the point and purpose of the money.
Chris, what am I missing, man? I feel like you got 6 houses for free.
It took work.
No, I'm not saying. Okay, you're true. It's not for free.
It took work.
But at the end of your work,
right,
you're left with, you've got to pay property taxes.
Correct. I do. The property taxes, insurance, all that is the same. It's just the upfront money for development. Is
there something that's filed, I guess, like an encumbrance, or
there's a deed restriction? There's a deed restriction. So if I try to sell these, or if I violate the rules of managing them, of who I'm renting them to. So every time I rent them, I have to get proof of income. I have to record that annually, and they'll come check it. If I violate that, I got to pay the money back.
All of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. So if I try to sell it, I got to pay the money back. There's a deed restriction. We actually developed one. We partnered with a city, Hobson City. We partnered with Hobson City and built one for them, but they wanted theirs to be sold, right? Because you can sell them as part of this grant. So it's a deed restriction even on who purchases, because we build it and get a development fee just for the construction, right? When it's sold, the money goes back into the grant for the sale of the home. But the person that buys it, because we can only price it at a certain level. You can't price it at market value. So when the person buys it, they're getting a home for under market value. There's a deed restriction that they cannot sell that home for X amount of years, or they have to pay money back. So it's getting homeowners in homes, right, for affordable price. I think that home may have sold for $140,000. It was a brand new 1,650 square foot home that they got for under market value. So there are deed restrictions and things in place. They're not just throwing money out there hoping it work out and making sure the purpose is not filled. You have to fill the purpose. This is the federal government. So they'll come make sure you pay them back, whether it's going to be through taxes or whatever it is.
Chris, this is awesome, man. Thank you so much for giving us a tour out here in Anniston, Alabama of this development.
Perfect.
Thanks, Chris. Let me ask you something. Who's in your corner? One of the biggest breakthroughs in my real estate journey came when I stopped trying to figure it all out on my own, and I started surrounding myself with high-level investors who are actually doing deals and building real businesses. That's why I created Board of Advisors, a curated mastermind for real estate entrepreneurs who are serious about growth. We're talking real conversations about cash flow, hiring, deal flow, burnout, and strategy, the stuff that actually moves the needle. We're meeting October 6th and 7th in Birmingham, Alabama. And if you've been feeling stuck or isolated, or like your business could grow faster with the right people around you, then I want you to go to boamastermind.com and enter that promo code podcast. That way you get a deep discount, and that way you can join us. When I say deep discount, I really mean it. I'm literally only covering my costs to host the event. So go ahead and go to boamastermind.com, enter that promo code podcast. And I just want to be clear here, this isn't one of those flashy masterminds full of influencers trying to build their followings. This room is built for operators, real estate investors who want to scale their business, not their social media presence. Go to boamastermind.com, enter the promo code podcast, and meet me in Birmingham on October 6th and 7th. Chris has been developing, he's been flipping houses out here, he's owned a brokerage, he's owned a property management company. Chris has done a lot of things in real estate for about how long?
About 9 years.
9 years.
I was working a full-time job when I started. So I started about 9 years ago. I've been doing it full-time about 5.
And that's pretty incredible, the growth that I've watched you kind of go through just since I've known you. You've been a part of our mastermind now for a few years, and just seen you kind of grow. And that development project you just did that we just talked about, that we just got back from. And then now this development, you just bought a trailer park out here in Oxford that the city wanted nothing to do with.
For sure.
They rezoned it. You bought it. Tell us why you bought it, because you knew you were going to have to tear it down.
For sure.
Why'd you buy it? What was your intention, and what are your plans?
This is a prime area. Again, we're in Oxford now, right? So this is a different area. This is a different animal. But it was land that was available in a great area, and it was, like I said, it was a raggedy trailer park, but it had good infrastructure. It's city sewer, so there's not septic tanks that I have to deal with, which means I could put more units out here. The power was ran. There's actually gas that's ran out here as well that I won't use. But the infrastructure was already in place. The road is already there. I saw a lot of good things with it. I knew the trailer park wasn't going to work. The city of Oxford, they had already rezoned it. They wanted nothing to do with the trailer park. These were raggedy trailers. I'm talking about horrible condition. Maybe 3 of them had people living in them, and they were bad. And when I bought it, they said the new owner, they wanted me to start fixing everything. I had to get the people out because it wasn't good living conditions. And actually worked with the city to make sure that I can get people out. We actually purposely condemned them because now if somebody goes in, they can be arrested. Where previous, somebody can just go in there and claim ownership and just be sitting there. Now I got to evict them. So that was a big thing, but I just saw the vision of it. And with the infrastructure being in place, I had options. Tiny homes is an option, and then duplexes are an option as well. So this was actually a taekwondo building here. It was a commercial building. It was old. It had been rezoned as well, in the middle of a bunch of houses with a raggedy trailer park behind it. So as a proof of concept, I tore down the taekwondo building, built the duplex here to get a proof, because I actually did more luxury. There's granite all through this thing, bathrooms, kitchen, updated fixtures. The master has a tile walk-in shower with dual shower heads with the rain shower head. I wanted to make it nicer because there's not any of that available in the area, right? So I saw that vision, and I saw what could be done with the trailer park, and that's why I bought it.
So when I'm thinking about a development, I'm thinking in order to make money, because I'm trying to think like an investor, in order to make money, the more we can scale this thing, the bigger we can make it, the more profitable we're going to be. The smaller we make it, it's going to be tough to make money on this. Now, as with the previous video I did with Chris, where he got this grant and he got federal funding to build these houses, now this is not that. This is your money. This is
correct.
So talk to me about, you've only built 1 duplex so far, with plans to possibly build more, possibly, like you mentioned, tiny homes. We don't know yet. We're going to get to that in a second. But you've only built 1.
Correct.
Take me through those numbers, because are you profitable right now?
No, I'm not profitable, because I actually got this on a seller finance deal. And I was able to get purchase it with him with a slight down payment, and then he just straight financed it, which worked for him. He didn't want all the money up front anyway. He wasn't hurting for money. He'd rather have it over time. So I got it on a seller finance deal. I didn't have to go to the bank on it. But no, right now, based off what I'm paying and the income from 1 duplex, I'm not profitable on this property, which I knew I wasn't going to be. The way to get profitable for this project is units, because we're in Oxford. Oxford gets a premium on rent. So once I get my units up, once I construct the units and get my units, I'll be in good shape. So I knew when I ran my numbers, I was going to be taking a loss monthly on this one until I got my development going. But I'm fine with that. But my overall portfolio is in good shape to where I can handle it. I just want to make sure I make the right plan to use this land, because there's not a lot of land in the city limits of Oxford, especially this close to amenities and things. So I want to get it right the first time.
Okay, so that scares a lot of people. You're sitting here talking about I'm negative cash flow, and you went and built. Do you remember how much it cost you to build this?
That was roughly $200,000.
$200,000. And what are the rents?
I'm getting about $2,500 on that one.
Total between the two.
Right.
Okay, so $2,500 rent. How many bed and baths are the units?
2 bedroom, 2 bath.
2 bedroom, 2 baths. Okay, so You've got, and how much you take us through the seller financing, because I want to try to get all these numbers. So you bought this. How much land is here?
This is about 6 acres.
6 acres, and you bought it for how much and how much down? And
Well, the seller don't want me to say how much I bought it for. The seller don't want me to put that down publicly because it can't be publicly found, and for certain reasons he don't want people to know.
Okay.
But the down payment, actually, I think I put down 20% on it. I could have negotiated different, but I put down 20%.
So if you would have just given us a straight number and didn't say 20%, but now if you give us a number, we're going to know what the overall number is.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you could
okay. So 20%. So I'm sitting here thinking from a seller finance standpoint. Did he give you a better interest rate?
Oh yeah, the interest rate is great.
Okay, interest rate's great.
Interest rate's great.
Because I'm thinking 20%. I can do that at a bank.
Correct.
So why did you choose to do seller financing versus a
because
bank?
I was able to negotiate an interest rate that's perfect.
Yeah.
The interest rate is great on it, so it's cheap money in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was willing to put that 20% down. Like I said, I have the credit to go to the bank,
Mm-hmm.
but with the interest rate I got with this, it was perfect.
And over how many years is it spread out?
Over 15 years.
15 years. Okay. And so does the rent cover the note?
The rent covers the note. The rent does not cover the note plus the note for that. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a note on that as well.
Correct.
So that's where the loss comes in.
Gotcha.
So that's where the loss comes in at. But again, I projected my numbers out over years. So I know I was going to be taking this loss till I get it built. And once I get my plan together on exactly what I'll do, I'll restructure the financing to get him out of it, basically, and be able to move forward with the development.
Yeah. So take me through this now, because it's been, how many years have you had this now? Or how long have you had this?
I had this less than a year.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you're going to do with the rest of the acreage, with the rest of the land. So it seems as if time is money. You correct me if I'm wrong.
It is. Well, the tiny home concept, I think I'm going to go away from it and go with just normal apartments, just because the proof of concept. I know what I can get for rents in Oxford on an apartment. For a tiny home, it's more of a risk. I may do some combination of. I may build some apartments and there may be room on this side where the setbacks aren't good enough for a multi-unit apartments. I may put a tiny home there and test rents. But if I build a tiny home and can only get 80% of the rent I can get on an apartment, then, because tiny home, you're not gonna get a bunch of bedrooms, right? Bedrooms count. So that's the thing, I know what I can get for apartments, and I'm probably just gonna go that route. But like you said, time is money, and one thing that's delaying me now is the whole tariff thing. I don't want to get approved for a loan. The clock starts. I get in the middle of this thing, and lumber prices skyrocket. With things going on with Canada and things of that nature, I think right now again, what I'm losing every month isn't a lot. It's not worth me rushing into this thing. So I'm gonna wait till the dust settles, because I seen during COVID when materials skyrocketed what it can do to you, what it can do to your budget. I don't want to go through that with the tariffs that's going on, or potential of.
Do you feel like this is probably something a new person shouldn't get themselves into? Or
no, not a new person.
Like what makes you feel so confident about just only doing the one, taking your time, a little bit of negative cash flow in this one? My whole portfolio's in good health and good strength. What gives you that confidence to kind of take your time on it?
I mean, for me, it's always the numbers. You run your numbers conservatively and let the numbers tell the story. I don't go off feel good. I don't go off, this feels like this is going to be a cool project and I'm just going to chance it, right? No, I ran the numbers on what the development cost would be, what the construction cost would be, what I can make in rents, and what my cash flow could be, and also what I think the appraised value would be after the fact. Because there's a lot of investors hungry for multi apartments in Oxford. There's not a lot of them, especially in this type of areas in brand new. Yeah. So it's just right now, I don't think the time's to kick that project off. I think it ended up costing me more money with the potential cost increase of materials and things of that nature versus the loss I'm taking back.
Okay, Chris, all this is the where the trailers were. How many trailers were out here?
It was about 18 out here. It can actually hold, there's lots for 36 actually. There's some stations back there with power meters and things. You can see some of them, but it actually goes back farther into that tree line as well. But I had about 18, and if I would have paid to get rid of them, maybe it was 16. I think it was going to cost me like 30 grand. But
to get rid of the trailer.
To get rid of them.
So what'd you do?
They're not cheap to get rid of. I found somebody that was willing to take them for free. And I basically told them that if you take them, you don't charge me nothing, I don't charge you nothing. And it was a lady that came and got them. So if you need somebody to get rid of some raggedy trailers, she has trailer parts and she has a staff that can fix them. Pretty much no matter the condition. So her team came and got them and took them to her land, and I didn't have to pay a dime.
Now, Chris, I understand that it got rezoned, so you couldn't go back with a trailer park, or you couldn't fix up the trailer park. Not even to say that you wouldn't want to do it, but there are a lot of people out there that love mobile home parks, trailer parks, and it's very profitable.
It was going to be a battle with the city. Long story short, the city wasn't going to let me bring in any additional trailers. I actually met with the planning commission to try to get them to approve me to bring in new trailers just as an option. And due to the rezone, due to most of them were vacant, they had been vacant for years, the new zoning kicked in and they weren't going to go for it.
But it was grandfathered in. You could have kept what was here.
I could have kept what was here, but the potential, the income potential of what was here wasn't enough. So I wanted to fully use and develop the land, get more units out of it, and not just have 16 regular trailers that are rehabbed.
So right now you've got utilities run to 30 or so lots. So you could, in theory, as long as the city approves it, put tiny homes on those lots.
Correct. And they're fine with tiny homes.
Oh, they are?
They are.
Okay. So you could do that, but you think a better use is to actually build apartments? What's the plan there? How many apartment units? How many buildings? What are you thinking?
I'm at a minimum, I'm thinking 10 duplexes, 20 units.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go quads up top and bottom. To me, I definitely get more units. To me, that takes away from the duplex single level feel. And again, there may be some combination of still locking down that, but the tiny homes, I'm just not comfortable with the income potential to go all in tiny homes, that I'll be able to get the rents that I can get from the apartments.
Are there any tiny homes around here, like at all, within maybe 10, 20 miles?
Well, all that I know of is there's some here that they Airbnb, actually one or two that they Airbnb. And the other ones that I know of are in Lincoln. Lincoln has a huge development of them. I mean, there's 5, 6 different styles of them in Lincoln, but that's more of the short-term stay as well. If I remember correctly, I don't even know if you're allowed to live out there full time. It's more catered for short-term stay. So there's not a proof of concept in place that I'm willing to go all in and take that risk for this level of project when I know what the apartments can do.
Awesome. What else? What am I missing?
That's about it. This was a journey as well. Like I said, I looked up on the lady to get rid of the trailers for free, but while they were doing it, there was a guy that kept coming out here living. And I got a hunting camera that I put out there on my duplex, and I was scared he was going to go in it during the construction time. And I put one out here as well, but he'd be out here burning stuff. And I thought the city was going to cause me some problems while he was out here, but that was the only hiccup with this project so far.
What have you had to do with the city so far? Have you had to go in front of the council or anything like that?
I just went in front of the planning commission that time. I wanted to have the option of trailers, just to bring in some new ones. That's the only time.
And they shut you down.
Oh yeah, they weren't trying to hear. I knew that was kind of going to be the case, but I decided to try it anyway.
But you needed to see what your options were.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because when I'm running my numbers and that's an option, right? Then I'm going to determine, okay, what if I pull out everything and put in brand new trailers, or they would have had to been 5 years or less. What does my numbers look like on that? I was thinking about getting a whole dealer's license as a trailer part vendor and that whole thing to try to get wholesale prices at that point. So I'll just weighing all my options to see what makes sense for the numbers. But the safe answer is apartments.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving us a tour of a little bit of Anniston, a little bit of Oxford, and Calhoun County.
Exactly.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening to today's show. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you got any value today, please take 30 seconds and leave us a quick review. To get connected with me or to become a part of the Board Advisors community, go to boamastermind.com. That's boamastermind.com. We'll see you guys on the next one.